Hello, good evening. My name is Muhammad Reza from Teknik Elektro 2023 KKI. Today I will be talking about digital communication for how a message is sent from the transmitter to a receiver. So first we will be talking about the overview of what digital communication is, the block diagram of how a message is sent from a transmitter to a receiver, the details of the transmitter channel receiver and how it relates to when a person sends a message through WhatsApp. So first of all, for an overview, the digital communication model is described as the communication process from a transmitter to the receiver through a medium or a channel. So advantages of this is that it allows the communications of two or more people at a distance, whether it be locally or internationally. It doesn't matter as long as it is a distance. The messages that are sent, whether they are images or texts, will be compressed to reduce the bandwidth and storage needs, making it much more efficient. And in addition, messages are encrypted to ensure security by converting data into intelligible text, which is only decodable through a key. Moreover, since the signals that are sent are usually converted from analog to digital, and in which digital is discrete, it is much more resistant to noise as signals are either ones or zeros and not continuous. Over here, we have a block diagram, and it shows how a source of information sends a message signal through a transmitter and a channel, and finally to the receiver and to the person or destination of the signal. So for the transmitter side, it has three parts, which are the source encoder, the channel encoder, and the modulator. The source encoder basically converts the information into digital bits. So a text or a message will be turned into ones or zeros. And as mentioned before, it is to make it much more efficient. And in addition, it also removes redundant information to make it much more compact through image or compression. Next, we have the channel encoder, which is used to produce a new sequence of symbols, which are called channel code words. This channel code word is a sequence which consists of redundant bits to protect the original message. And an example to this is the turbo code, which is utilizing a convolutional encoder but making it in parallel. Since this is in parallel, it works synchronously, and which means that it can process and make a channel code word affect in a fast manner. So the advantages of this is that it has a high speed, low power, and it has maximum capacity. After going to a channel encoder, it goes to a modulator, and when it is modulated, basically what it means is that it's when a signal is sorry when a message is turned into digital bits, ones or zeros, it is going to be sent onto a high frequency carrier wave so that it can travel through a channel. And now this channel is a medium that connects the transmitter and the receiver. It can be either a wired or wireless channel, which are in which wired is optical fibers, as an example, and wireless is the free space. So what is introduced here? Because even if the signal is sent from the transmitter to receiver, there are several of factors that affect it, such as attenuation, which is the signal loss, the signal power loss, noise, which are signal disturbances, distortion, which are factors which change the shape of the signal, and finally interference, which are foreign signals that may overlap with the original signal. Now, why is it important to have a channel? Without this medium, there is no simple way for a signal to be sent from a transmitter to a receiver, and therefore a person cannot send a message. However, it usually does not matter since the message is usually sent through a radio signal in which it will go through a free space, which is basically just air, and that is still called a channel. So channel channel can be something as simple as the free space. An example for this is connected to my assignment, which is well, sending a message through WhatsApp. So for a WhatsApp message, the message will be sent through radio waves when using and which is going to be going through a channel, which is the free space, when we use a Wi-Fi at 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz. And it should be noted that WhatsApp itself does not have a modulation. This is basically done through the Wi-Fi. Same with the channel encoder. Finally, once the message, once the carrier wave sends the signal to the receiver side, it will be demodulated, in which it is the opposite of modulation. The signal from the transmitter is received through a medium and it is converted back to its original signal. Afterwards, it goes through a channel decoder because since I've mentioned before that a medium has several factors which may affect the signal, such as attenuation, noise, distortion, and interference, the channel decoder will use the redundant bits from the channel encoder to fix the errors and recover the original message. An example of a channel decoder is a turbo decoder, which is usually used in 4G networks. A source decoder is then used to convert the message back into its original form, which is readable by humans. Examples of this are audio, message, or video. And in addition to this, it decompresses or decrypts the message so that we can actually uh, gain the original message at its original resolution, or at least somewhere near it, and it'll be also be decrypted. Finally, the receiver will also receive the message. So when a person uses WhatsApp or any other messaging platforms to send a message, this is basically the timeline of how it works. So step one is when a person types their message and sends it through the platform. Now, after that, the message will be converted to bits and goes through a source encoder, a channel encoder, and will be modulated onto a carrier signal, a carrier wave. Through a channel, it will eventually be received and demodulated as go through a channel decoder and source decoder before being received by the receiver. This receiver can be local or international, as mentioned before, and if the person was in Singapore, it won't matter. That person will still receive the message, and since he or she has received the message, he may reply back, and the process will repeat itself. And thus, that concludes my presentation for how messages are sent from a transmitter to a receiver. Thank you.